My name is Pastor Derrick Horton. I pastor Impact Church of Durham, located in the city of Durham, North Carolina.
What are some of the changes you think we need to be made in Durham?
I believe some of the changes that need to be made in Durham is really just returning back to the place where you were raised and reared at. I was talking to a pastor from Ferguson, and we were talking about all the violence that was taking place in Ferguson. He said that $600 billion was given to Ferguson, but not one was given to the grassroots in that community. It was all given to outside resources. He was a business owner. I asked him, why do you stay in the community if you can afford to move out? His position was he's committed to this community. So I believe when we find black men that are committed to the community that raised them, committed to the community that they were raised in as a child, and if they're willing to not leave the community but stay invested in that community, then I believe we will begin to see change. On one hand, we have the politicians pushing out the poor because of all the money being raised. So then on the other hand, you have those that have resources leaving the community, and we're left with a depleted community with young children that have nothing left but crime.
So what do you think needs to be done about it right now?
I believe what needs to be done right now is to address it and to call to action those that are leaving the community and charge those that have been blessed from that community to invest in the community that have once supported them and held them up. I recall growing up, and I remember Ice Cube said in Boys in the Hood, at the tail end of it, he says, either they don't know what's going on in South Central or they don't care what's going on in South Central. So my question to those that are leaving the community, my question to those that are pushing the poor out of the community, either you don't know what's going on in the community or you don't care what's going on in the community. So as a church, we ask, what's going on? We want to be where the pain is because we believe that the power of God will heal any hurt.
So what do you think the churches need to do more of?
The churches has a great responsibility. The name of our church is Impact Church of Durham. We have to be more than just a name. We have all of these creative names in the churches, but the church want resources, but they don't never give back. The fundamental command of God is to go back. We must go back to from where we came. So I believe as a church, our commitment is to return back to the Lord that saved us, converted us, and healed us. And I believe in doing that, we will begin to transform our communities with black men that really care.
What do you think we need more from the police department?
With the police department, it's a diverse subject. I believe with the police department, they must understand that when you take a man's livelihood, that when you take a man's respect, you leave him no other options. He's been locked up. You've taken his identity. You've taken his right to vote. Now when he returns to this community, he doesn't have a job, and we understand that idleness is the devil's workshop. So then now when a police officer runs up on him, he's going to give back to you what you've given to him. He's frustrated, he's irritated, and he's upset. So I believe our police department, first and foremost, must understand that when they're embracing our youth, that they have a right to be respected as the police officer has a right to be respected. It's a two-way street.
So what do you think we need more from the city officials?
The city officials, when I study the city officials and politicians, what we need is action and not verbiage. And when you begin to raise money, you're hoping to get elected and hoping to be elected for a district. My concern is, once you are elected, now what? Do you care and are you active in your community?
What would be I'm gonna give you a freestyle or your own time to be able to say whatever you want to say.
My charge, lastly, is to the pastors. Because as a pastor, I heard the friend say earlier that he's notified these pastors and they don't care. And as a pastor, I want to communicate that we do care. But I need to reach out to the pastors that are having churches, multiple services, but never return the blessings back to the community. Once again, I ask, if we truly care, let's get involved in our community. This is not their community. This is our community. So in closing and lasting, my hope is that as leaders, as pastors, as preachers, we must do more than just raise offering. We must do more than speak well. The scripture says that Jesus Christ told his disciples, I must go back. And they asked him, well, they tried to kill you last time you were there. This is when Lazarus died. He says, I must go back. So as pastors and preachers, we go behind enemy lines. We go where no one else wants to go. We run in buildings that are on fire, although we're not the fire department. We show up in the middle of the night, although we are not police officers. We show up because we care. So my hope is that pastors, we have passion not just for God, but passion for God's people and passion for people that are far from God.